Welcome people on Zoom, out there, around the regions. I'm not sure how many people are on Zoom today. Fabulous. Okay, now we've got a couple of fresh faces here today. And we've got some people that we know really, really well. I'm very good. I'm very good. I am not retiring in any, I can't even imagine. You know, we were having that conversation before, didn't we? How do you classify people in a certain age group? Because we're not middle-aged, but we're not old. we're yes, of our tribe. We're elders of the tribe, that's right. But we're not elderly and we're not old. We hold the power. Those of us who are still working, good to see you, Stephen. Good to see you again. Okay, fantastic. Well, welcome to Expressway, and my name is Marg Aspin, and after 7 good years of facilitating Expressway, this is my final one that I'm going to be doing. But if you were here from the very beginning, it was Ian Gilbert who set up Expressway, who's floating around. Here he is, the man himself. And I think it was, what, like 2 years, and then you said, Margaret, just take it over. Yeah? Yeah.
In Margaret's normal passion for whatever she does, just got involved. So when we looked for change and we looked for how we were going to grow this, Margaret said, I'm going to go and have a talk to my boss, Peter Lang, because I think he'll love this. And guess what he did? So much so that he gave us Margaret for a bit. And she's done such a good job, we've kept her. And look, seeing as I am in the mood of talking about this, it would be a very appropriate time, I think, to say a huge thank you, Margaret. Now, it wasn't hard to make a selection of what to give to a Margaret, because I've come to learn over the years that Margaret likes a drop of red occasionally. And McLaren Vale is probably one of those better areas for a wine and her favourite. So I can see her now in her new home that she's building out in Moreton Bay, out in DEBORAH, sitting on her deck there, overlooking the scenery with a red wine in hand, relaxing. Not. She's too busy. She's got too much on. That's Margaret. So Margaret, thank you so much. You're a wonder. Photo opportunities. There we go. Where's a photo opportunity? Yes. Ah.
Straight to the pool room. I'm the LinkedIn group. Thanks, John. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear.
Now, of course, there's an ulterior motive for Ian giving me a red wine, because a few years ago my husband and I decided to drop in on his place, which is not all that far from DEBORAH, so Samford Valley area, and we didn't have any wine to bring with us, and we sort of did imbibe quite a lot of your cellar from memory, and it was a really good time. So I think, you know, in a couple of months we'll be driving by and we happen to have a church block with us. Thank you very much. I'll put it over here. Okay, between our speakers, I'll tell you a little bit about what I am hoping to move into as far as innovation goes in the Samford Valley area and the Moreton Bay area, and what the reasoning behind that is and who I'm meeting with and all that. Okay, so for the new people, When you got your invitation, it did have somewhere buried in there, okay, it did have somewhere buried in there the agenda for today, but let me just take you through what happened. So we just had networking. Did you enjoy networking with other people? Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? And you met some really good people. And now what we're going to do is every business will individually go through, stand up, look at everyone, eyeball you, and tell you their name, the sort of business that they're in or industry they're in, the business's name, and some sort of win or something really exciting, something that's happened. I know lots of exciting things that people are involved in, and maybe they've got some funding, or they've got an award, or they've just got a new huge client, or something's happened. Tell us about that. But you are not allowed to sell anything to us at any discount or in any other way. Otherwise, Ian has a device. It's high-tech. If you hear that, it means your time is now over. So it's got to be quite fast. And the purpose of this is that you can eyeball people in the room and decide who you want to network with over lunch. Or who you would want to avoid. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. But anyway, thank you for sharing that. Good. Many businesses do business with each other as a result of Expressway. I have done business. I am a consult to TAFE Queensland. I also consult to other organisations and do a range of things, but I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I'm always on the lookout, just like you are. This is why I always look like this. Who's in the room? Who's in the room? So do take notes. It's not really useful for you to email me after the event and say, now, the person who was sitting on the 4th step, who had a green top, who's in some sort of industry, what's their name and their phone number, thanks? Yeah. Right, okay, you probably won't even get a reply. So do write down the details of that person and talk to them over our networking lunch. After we've had our introductions, and Daryl, last month we really couldn't hear our people on Zoom introducing themselves. We're going to be okay today, so we'll have whoever wants to introduce themselves on Zoom in the regions can introduce themselves as well, so we'll do that. Let's do that at the end of going through the bleachers. After that, we're going to have our first speaker, Pushpa, who's going to make us feel really good, I think, and really think about ourselves, which is fantastic. So when I was putting together the invitation, my eyes were just going, you've got all this background, which kind of is very left and right brain all mixed up and jumbled in together, which is very interesting, your journey that you have taken. So I think that will be very exciting. So that's about 20 minutes. We leave the questions to networking time. Okay. Then we will hear about any government funding or any important things. That's when I hope to tell you about the lovely interns that I have from Torrens University, because I lecture at Torrens in entrepreneurship, and I've probably got about 280 students going into WIL programs shortly. I think may have talked to you about that. So this is the university level 3rd and 4th year university undergrad students in business that need to get workplace integrated learning spots to come and help you with your business. So we'll talk about that briefly. And then after we've had that segment, we're going to hear from Caitlin from UQ. And Caitlin's new to UQ, so she'll be able to tell us everything about UQ, everything. Yeah. How long was your induction? A day, yeah. Okay, so good. So that will be very exciting. Caitlin is going to talk about her particular area, although you're based here in the precinct. Yes, cool. You have an office, UQ have the Entrepreneurial Ventures, is it? Yeah, Entrepreneurial Ventures office, okay. And that is the formal part of the program. So at that point then we can start networking, which is really good. So I think I will demonstrate how to introduce yourself. Now, I wear many hats, and normally I only talk about one when I introduce myself. So I might do, on the fingers, I might do a couple there and a win. So you get the idea of how quick it needs to be. And then we will move around. So Daryl has got the microphone. You do need to speak into Daryl's microphone in a COVID-safe fashion. If you try to touch the microphone, just be aware it can get pretty dangerous, can't it? It has been bang. So Daryl will be supplying the microphone rather than we pass it around. Not too sharing going on still. So do make sure that you do stand and look at everyone, and of course the people on Zoom will want to see as well. Excellent. We're all good to go? Okay. So my name is Marg Aspin. I am a serial entrepreneur, having started my first business in Melbourne, somewhere, in 2003. So I've been in the tech startup area and edutech style businesses. I've sold 2 businesses so far, nearly sold a third in Melbourne, which is final transition end of July. I lecture in entrepreneurship and coordinate entrepreneurship bachelor programs at Torrens University. Small business mentor with Small Business Solutions, TAFE Queensland, and involved there. That's about it, isn't it? Okay, I could say more. There's brochures and a car. And I tend to mentor innovation businesses, and at the moment I have 10 female founders, mostly in sort of renewable technologies, construction industry, in particular around that Brendale area. So my patch now will be Moreton Bay. Why? Because I'm building a sustainable house in DEBORAH, and that's my exciting news. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Right. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, all right, yes. Hi, I'm Sisi Ma, and I'm the Managing Director of Grow and Sell Your Biz. So we help businesses raise capital, maybe I'll stand here. Yeah. So we help businesses raise capital, grow and sell. And currently helping a number of businesses, startups, or more scale-ups raise capital at the moment. One of my wins, something that I wanted to let everyone know, we have a CEO venture round going on at the moment. So if you know any female entrepreneurs who wants to, to get some funding from CEO, please reach out. Also, we have a CEO Global Activation Call on Friday from 9 to 10. 300 people already applied or already RSVP'd, so we welcome to anyone who wants to join us as well. Thank you.
So that's if you want to be an investor, is that right? An investor, then that's that one. Yep.
Good morning, everybody. John Hale, the strategy guy. My news is I just published my 3rd book, The Strategic Accountant. And I'm really excited today because I'm coming to hear the wonderful Pushpa speak. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, too. My name's Richard Christer. I'm a philosopher and founder of Ingenuity, spelled I-N-G-E-N-U-I-T-Y for some people. Ingenuity through philosophy. I help businesses learn and apply recipes for creating solutions to their business problems. That's it. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name's Pushpa, and I'm going to be one of the speakers, so you'll hear a little bit more about me. I do have a diverse portfolio, but currently my calling is around leadership, so we develop leaders, and I have a charitable organization, Women's Mentoring Foundation, and we're doing a lot of work around mental health, especially following COVID. So that's it.
Hello, I am SENAY COMERT. I am a marketing and business development intern at Pushpa's business for Leaders by Design. And I graduated from Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering in Turkey. Now I am studying Master of Business Administration Advanced at Torrance University, and this is my last term. I will graduate in August. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm JASMIN Brooke. I work for Leaders by Design. I am the PA/business marketer. This is my first ever speaking engagement with Pushpa. I'm excited to mingle later and meet some of you, and yeah, just see how it all Pushpa does our business. Thank you.
Just while I'm moving, you might have noticed some had their names up and some didn't. The people who registered before last night do.
Hi, my name's Caitlin Boucher, so I work for UQ Ventures. You'll be hearing more about me a bit later. And my win, I guess, is that I got this job. So I'm very new to the job. I'm 6 weeks in. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Good morning, my name is Kyle Holmes. I work for a business intelligence company called Key Data based here in Brisbane. We work with all ranges of clients and all ranges of data and feel strongly in enabling companies to work better with data. In terms of recent wins, the mic keeps moving, but I guess it's my head turning too. One of my clients recently closed a contract with a large client, which we're very happy about, and we're having a very successful engagement with a government department at the moment. So good times. Thank you.
Hi, my name is SHELDON MOREY, SHELDON MOREY Consulting. I'm a technology coach and I help businesses align their technology with their business goals, business operation, so that they can achieve the innovation goals they need.
Hi, my name's David. I'm from Clandestine Solutions. We're an engineering and IT company where we mostly focus on Microsoft 365 products and also projects. I guess one of the most recent ones for us is that we've been doing our HoloLens project, which we've now been awarded to continue on for the rest of the year. Yeah, thanks. That's it.
And you're in the robotics cluster, and you were saying you got quite a lot of work out of the robotics cluster.
That's where a lot of our HoloLens work has been coming from
Yep.
growing that industry.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really good. Seeing the head of the robotics cluster doesn't reply to my SMSs, and he's going to be living down the road from me. He's in a bad position, yeah. No, he's actually somewhere around the state at the moment. Okay.
Hi, I'm Daniel Maloney. I'm from RDA Brisbane. We look at the economic development of Queensland through supporting RDAs throughout the state. We're also a partner of Expressway. Apart from that, I'm an engineer, mining oil and gas last 35, 40 years. But as I'm getting older, I'm turning a little bit green. We've got a group in Brisbane looking at a technology where you take gas or synthesised coal, strip out some byproducts such as argon, which is a very expensive product, and run through the turbines CO2, where there are zero emissions out of a conventional gas turbine. So there's a group, so if anybody's interested in that, it's very early stages. It's technology that hasn't been introduced to Australia yet, so that's the latest project. I've got many projects.
Good morning, my name's Greg CREE. I'm a cranky old man who started a charity to build housing for people that we describe as being disadvantaged by circumstance. More recently, we've got a social enterprise that I also started called Housing for Change, where we're concentrating on older single women, elder abuse, and women out of DV. Thank you.
You were a developer beforehand, but you're still a developer really, aren't you?
Yes, my background is construction, property development, and during the GFC I did a lot of recovery work on distressed projects.
Good morning everyone, my name's Steve Shout and I work at TAFE Queensland in the commercial sales area, so that basically engaging with business and helping you with your training. Primarily I look after aviation and I'm looking to get into aerospace because when I grow up I want to be an astronaut.
I'm another TAFE Queensland family member. My name is John HEBRARD. My primary role is to get involved with the commercial sales and also head up the small business solution of TAFE Queensland, of which our very esteemed Marg Aspin is one of our mentors. The exciting part happening this year is Marg is on my development team, redeveloping the whole program with heavy emphasis on entrepreneurship, which is great, and we'll look forward to having that ready by October, Marg, don't we?
I'll be busy in my home office writing things. That will be really, really good. Entrepreneurship are us.
Hi, I'm Debbie Stubbs. I'm sort of part of the TAFE Queensland crew that's here today, and I think we like to think ourselves as being able to think a bit outside the square. We sit under the business innovation and commercialisation team. So really, I look after a lot of contracts and particularly around health and education. But yeah, really interested in just hearing and what people are doing and what businesses are here and yeah, saying hi. Thank you.
Might come around the back here for this one.
Good morning, I'm Kate Hurley-Gross from TAFE Queensland. I round up the crew here today. I'm also with the commercial team and I look at programs that are community-based generally. I do a lot of work with youth justice and different organisations, and I make a very, very mean lemon sourcing pudding.
Graham Tom. I grew up to become a firefighter. GT and Associates is my business, and I'm in the business of capturing and sharing wisdom through the stories of fire and other emergencies. And I do that by connecting great people, great ideas and great opportunities. And one such way of doing it is through a unique speakers bureau which contains a whole lot of professional speakers from fire, police, ambulance, military, medical, and they inspire and give their insights for leadership in people's businesses and organisations. Recently, I spoke at an international conference about completely eliminating by the end of this decade all uncontrolled fire, primarily through the use of technology. So hopefully we can achieve that. Thank you.
My name's Deb Bauer. It's my first time here today. I have a business called Urban Metal and I'm the director and head designer. We design decorative screens for spaces, commercial spaces and residential homes. And over the last few years we've found ourselves moving into the space of working with community groups. So we've recently taken on a portfolio of featured artists to design Indigenous screens, as this is something that we don't see in our line of business, so we're hoping to launch that in the next few weeks.
My name is John DADDOW. My business is CONSTANTECH. Google says that content is king, and the best way to do SEO is by feeding the Google algorithm with content. I've implemented a number of quite intelligent automation systems that will help you distribute content in many, many places that will provide a lot of food for the Google algorithm. And that will help you rise in Google search results.
How you doing? My name's Darren Foster and I wear lots of hats. I've got a company called ARTEMIS Structural Intelligence in the US. It's currently raising $8 million. We've got a great team over there that's doing that for us. I'm also involved here in Australia with two companies that I met in this very room, or as part of this organisation, Jacob's Ladder and a company called SportTech. I'm helping both of those companies commercialise their technology. And as one of the hats I wear, I'm also one of the directors of the robotics cluster. So I'm going to find out why Andrew is not answering your texts for you. And a win, I'm going to tell a quick story at the risk of getting a gong, okay? Last month, I actually got given John's book. Now, John's book had an amazing journey because John's book went from this room up to the robotics cluster, where it went into the hands of Andrew, the chair of the robotics cluster. It was then hand-delivered to Split Spaces in Mackay, where it sat for a couple of days and was then hand-delivered 120 kilometres north up to me in Airlie Beach. So rather than sticking it in a pack and having it delivered, it was hand-delivered right the way up to me in Airlie Beach. And I have to say, the book is absolutely fantastic. It's full of some great information.
Good morning. My name is SIVA YERRAMACHU. We have a small startup company called Browse 360. We do the virtual reality and then augmented reality, and then we are also doing a little bit robotic technology. Two excitement things is just we moved into brand new office here in Bowen Hills, and then second one is we got the small piece of work with one of the pharmaceutical company. We are deploying the robotics in US. So we have a small piece of work there. Yeah, slowly, getting bigger. Yeah, employing locally, couple of people in last year. Yeah, that's me. And also another thing, Margaret was my mentor last year. So thanks, Margaret, and thanks to John from TAFE Queensland as well. It's a help. The program helped me a lot to improve my business. Yeah.
Winners of the Lord Mayor's Multicultural Awards last year.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bodo Rose. This is also my first time here. Very pleased to be here. Also pleased to say I commenced with a great company called Navigate Global Payments just over a month ago. We started in 2018. We are a foreign currency provider, a fintech play essentially. We assist businesses, wholesale companies predominantly manage their foreign currency requirements, their risks. Our platform is a world-leading platform which allows you to execute transactions and trades within 10 seconds, whether you're buying currency today, whether you're locking in your currency rates at a forward rate, and we can also structure options and manage your risk in a way that no other fintech foreign currency platform can do. So very excited to be working with Navigate Global Payments.
Garth Paul, and I'm with Isaac Intelligence, but I am changing to a new company called Assure Global Plus, which I helped build. This company does managed litigation services and managed insolvency services that no one else is doing in Australia or, in fact, around the world. And it's very exciting to be involved, and it looks like it's growing quite well.
How you going? My first time here, William and Eric from Updates. We're trying to start a tech startup, early stage, that's going to allow people to update their details with multiple businesses. Changing your address, changing your name within 10 minutes rather than ringing multiple businesses over 40-minute phone calls. Basically, yeah. Thank you.
Are we together? It's the same thing? Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I thought only he's going to speak. Well, I'm Irit and from Updates, and yeah, we've been working about this idea for quite a while, and yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you.
Stephen Gay. I started off in mineral processing, writing software and mathematical algorithms. A win in the last year was my methodology was patented or certified and so forth. So it's been awarded, but I've diversified into teaching people how to use Excel efficiently, including making third-party software available to detect areas in Excel. And as an aside, I thought you might like this story. I have a client, a mining company. They discovered lots of gold under a highway, and they're going to move the highway.
Okay, COVID, no. Okay. Hi, my name's Tristan Sinesia. I work with Business Station. We are running the federally funded digital solutions program, which has just been extended to the financial year of 21-22. And we've created a startup stream within the larger Australian Small Business Advisory Service, which is really good at kind of helping progress startups through their various decision-making process. Anyway, anyone wants to reach out, just get in touch.
Hey, I'm Beth, and I'm the other half of this guy here with Darbeth. I'll let him explain that, but the other side of things too is that I have business that's an arm of Darbeth called Seventh Heaven Creative, and that's linking artists and artisans with people who want to buy, such as design, interior designers and so on. It's for emerging artists, not so much the well-known ones, to give them a platform, to give them a voice, and to be able to let them get out there. Normally I do Zoom, and hey Darren, it's good to see you in the flesh. He's been our regular Zoom attendee over since we've been doing this, so unfortunately today others haven't been logging in, so I'm out here to say hi.
He's from the government, he's here to help. My name's Daryl. We have done a few businesses over the years. We're now at Darbeth, and what we focus on is your business, tech and communications. And over the years we've been involved with tech since Adam sort of appeared, and we've noticed that things have all come together, and you're getting businesses which are trying to get things working there, getting one person to do the network, one person to get the videos working, one person to do something else. So we said, look, let's get one butt to kick. And everything all working together so that you got that one continuous thread to do with your business, tech and communications all the way. So one of the wins, we had two wins actually, we are now able to set people up with NBN. So if you have a new office or something like that, that's an area that we are now able to help with directly. And tomorrow, with the Brisbane Small Business Reboot program, we're giving a webinar at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So that's another win that we've had. Thank you, Ian.
Look, I also have to mention about this very humble man, that he has given so much of his time to support Expressway through his business with the technology, setting it up well beyond my capability, but it's just a breeze to him, and we so much appreciate it. And Beth's gone again, I don't know where she's disappeared to. What a team. And also to Stephen, please give a round of applause to Stephen, who's a tech man on the job. As you've just heard, I'm Ian Gilbert, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, and my role is in supporting high growth businesses. My title is Manager of Commercialisation and Scale Up Enterprises. My unofficial title is Chief Agitator. I seem to upset the government quite a bit because I'm always pushing for new things, generally involving a partnership with other organisation and with the private sector, because I strongly believe that people in business are the best people to help people in business, and it is about getting a whole of state, not just by a sector or by a size of business, by a region, by an industry. everybody in business will go along a fairly similar pathway. They'll all have differences in the things that'll jump out left field and attack them, and they'll have to address that. But I doubt that there's really a problem or an issue or a challenge in business that somebody else hasn't already addressed. So isn't it wonderful when you get in a group like this and you put out, I've got a challenge, I've got an opportunity. Inevitably you're going to find somebody who has faced that same brick wall and has found a way over or around or through, or decided that there's a better wall to climb. So that's what this is all about. We want you, as the owners of the Expressway network, to come out with your ideas, what you want us to help you with, what you'd like in the program, get involved with each other, support each other. You've just heard from Darren about how he has met businesses here that he's been able to help along the way that have led into great partnerships. And in fact, the great partnership that I've found here working with Regional Development Australia and TAFE Queensland, TAFE Small Business Solutions, but also with Torrens University and Microsoft and so many other great organisations to support innovation in Queensland. And that's what it's all about. So great to see you along. Do invite your business associates, those people who are the leaders of the future in innovation. And I'm going to hand this back to Marg now. Marg, if you'd like to do, Margaret here.
There is one person who happens to have the same name as me. Who's missing? Yeah, okay. Regional Development Australia at Brisbane are also a partner of Expressway. Marg's on leave. You know, that thing that you do sometimes? That's right. So Marg's on leave, but Regional Development Australia Brisbane has a statewide focus, and Daniel's on the board, aren't you? And there's all sorts of good things happening at the moment with RDA.
Business stations last month with the event.
Yes.
And there's some many new things happening. We're very keen on the space industry, and we're looking at regional areas. Our charter has changed from just Brisbane. We are actually supporting through the other RDAs to support them to hopefully roll out some of the things we have, such as Expressway. So we're not replacing them, but we're just supporting them what we can do from a capital city point of view. But there's some exciting news happening in the space field, which is something that is very good for Queensland, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think there's already one person up in Bowen at the moment as an area for that. The other place I think is out of South Australia, so there's two focal points for that. But space, it comes into everything that we do, technology, mapping. We have one of the most advanced mapping of land of any country in the world. So we have some of that technology too. So watch this space. Space.
That's good.
Isn't it amazing how you find these synergies at Expressway? Well, we've got Daniel's so keen on, of course, space and rocket ships, and we've got Stephen who wants to be an astronaut and fly into space.
It's a different sort of space.
And I'm constantly told I'm a waste of space. So I mean, what a synergy!
Watch this space. So it's kind of been entrepreneurs are us, and also robotics are us. And I've made it quite clear, haven't I, in a very public kind of way, that I've got to have a coffee with Andrew. But also he needs to speak. You know, he has to get up in front of people here, and he knows that because Margaret Blade and I have ganged up on him on several occasions, which is why he's probably not replying. Well, as he travels, he's not replying to my SMSs. Yes, yes. 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 Yeah. Industry clusters, fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. All right then, we have our first speaker who's been getting ready to put her foot down. So now Pushpa's amazing invitation. But please, Pushpa, would you please come up and present? You've got 20 minutes to present, so do tell us a lot of wonderful things that are going to encourage and inspire us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. Good morning, everybody. 20 minutes is usually a bit of a challenge because I am a bit of a chatter, and I said to Daryl earlier that I think I'm probably going to forget what I need to speak about, and he goes, well, you can talk a lot, speak. Waiting for the slides to chat. While that's happening, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So professionally, I did start off life as an accountant and a tax auditor. I've done psychology and a clinical neurotherapist at the moment. I have worked in diverse, I have a diverse portfolio, but currently my calling is, and my purpose is leadership. So hence the reason I started the Leaders by Design organization. We have a foundation, the Women's Mentoring Foundation, and we also have the Thank you. And we also have another organization where we do a lot of work around mental health, which is a huge topic at the moment. So our vision is to develop leaders that will only impact the world in a positive way. And I can see from here, you're all leaders. And our mission is to lead, inspire leadership that will ignite transformation. Now, leadership is leadership, and you know, there's many ways of looking at it, but more so now than ever, it's become more transformational and transcendental, as in that it's become holistic. So today, yeah, it's a little bit about sharing on leadership, but also things that you can use in your businesses, but also on a personal lifestyle as well. I think I'm clicking the right button. Is it this one? Sorry, Daryl. I'm originally from the UK. I've been in Australia since 2008. I have been a business mentor for Mentoring for Growth now for 11 years. And I still do a work with John, of course. That's why John's here to support me. And love John. Plus, John and I have a lot of things in common. We're both associated with Anthony Robbins, me being a trainer and John being his PA. All right, so any form of leadership starts with the self, and that's evident, right? So who here believes that they were born a leader? You put your hands up. Absolutely. I mean, we get the question asked all the time, are leaders born? Of course they are. I mean, that's the only way they're going to come into this world, right? And if you influence others, if you make a decision or you're taking action or you have a sense of responsibility, then of course you're a leader because you're impacting other people. And I can see all of you are so passionate about your leadership role that it's just great to be here. The competition with leadership is actually about yourself. Like when in business environment or whether it's as an individual, we're always looking for the competition outside of us. The first question you need to ask yourself is that, where are you within yourself, especially when you're leading others or influencing others? And do you have a competitive advantage with you? This, I mean, the smallest scale that you could look on this is at home. You influence your, you know, whether it's your other half, your children, your parents. We've all been in an environment that we have discussions with people and people listen to us. People might hear something that we've said that's influenced them and then they've gone and implemented it, which means that you've actually taken a leadership step. You cannot lead others without knowing yourself. And I know a lot of people come to me and say, well, I do know myself. Actually, there's a little bit of a doubt there when they really start to scrape that barrel and find out who they truly are. You need to know your weaknesses and strengths. What are you good at? What are you great at? And me, in a leadership role, I know that I will never be great at everything. I need people. Hence, I'm so blessed to have an intern from Torrance. I mean, she's just amazing. I have JASMIN, who's a trainee, and both girls are phenomenal. if you knew my journey from the last 18 months, if I didn't have that inner strength and leadership within me, I would not be standing here. Literally 18 months ago, I was homeless. I was living on sheltered food. I've nearly lost my life twice over the last 18 months. And yet, I still established a business sitting outside the library and using free internet. Oh, thank you. And that, that came with a lot of resilience. That it's not the first time I've been through a challenge. What I've learned over my life since the age of 11 is that I have a choice. Either I become a victim or I become the victor. And when my mom died at 11 and I had to look after my family, I decided at that point that leadership is my calling and I'm going to be a victor. It doesn't matter what happens. All right, so, and John will vouch on this. Tony Robbins says, everything that we do is 80% psychology. And it's one of the reasons I studied psychology. It's one of the reasons why I studied neurotherapy. 20% is mechanics. So when I talk about 80% being psychology, it's what are your thoughts? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you positive? Are you playing, even though you don't want to, you're in a place where you're actually acting and playing a victim because that suits or meets your needs? Or are you using your psychology to stay in a positive frame of mind, irrelevant of what's going outside of you that may be or may not be in your control? It's your choice, your decision, hence you're influencing yourself. And as John C. Maxwell, who's one of my mentors, as is Tony Robbins, John says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And that's one thing leaders have to realize is that we are influencing our own journey. Where are you with your energy and momentum? Like your emotions, do you have momentum? Are you in a positive frame of mind there? What's your chokehold? Are you dependent on other people? For example, other leaders. Do you have control of the situation? And again, as I said earlier, that I'm not good at everything. I need staff, I need people to help me. I have a niche, I'm good at talking, but I'm definitely not good at the technical side of things. Hence, I get the support, right? And the threshold of control, how much can you control stress or issues or concerns that come in your way? Again, a lot of people will live in this stress situation and they think, this is what it is. As a yoga teacher for nearly 30 years, I can tell you that being in a negative emotion actually uses up 3 times as much energy than a positive emotions, i.e. you are actually aging 3 times faster. The other thing is that if you're frowning a lot, you're going to be using a lot of muscles, but if you're smiling, you're giving yourself a facelift. So just be conscious of your facial contours, because 14%, and you're really giving yourself an uplift. You're not going to have to spend so much money on plastic surgery for some of us in the future. And proximity is power. Who are you hanging around with? And many of you would have heard this, that tell me 5 to 6 people you hang around with, and I'll tell you what your life is all about. Right now, I have 2 people that are in my environment, and that's my staff. I come from a family of 9 brothers, 2 sisters, and a lot of, I've come across a lot of people throughout my lifetime, but there's nobody that's in that inner circle, because I want to ensure I hang around with the people that are going to influence me, that's going to support my vision and my mission. COVID is a reflection that we don't know if tomorrow is guaranteed. My husband, when he went into hospital 20 years ago, he went in with a common cold, and 3 days later, they're asking me when I want the machine switched off. So I understand with empathy what people are going through that have gone through COVID traumas. It's just something that I share, and so life is not guaranteed. Today is what is guaranteed. Yes, we plan for the future, but we want to ensure that we make the most of the present. All right, the most challenging person I find to lead is myself. especially, during the last few years, is that how do I stay motivated? How do I stop myself from procrastinating? How do I stop myself from living in doubt? And that's usually the hardest thing. I mean, even for my mentors, they're the greatest leaders in the world, but the hardest person they find to hold accountable is themselves, leading themselves. And it's a fact. I have a mentor, I have a coach, because I want to ensure that I do the best in what I do, and I don't want to waste a moment. When I said 2 years ago, when I had that crash, literally, I was burnt out, and what do you expect after 40 years of working 18 hours a day, sleeping 3 hours a day? Of course my body was going to crash. I had a choice. Do I want to survive, or do I want to just let it go, taking into consideration my situation? I said I wanted to survive, so I took immediate action because I had something valuable to give to the world, and I don't believe each one of us is blessed with a gift to waste it. We've all worked hard, we've got skills, we've got exceptional verbal and mental and emotional experiences that we can use not only for ourselves but to help others. So that's a choice you have to make. And what I'm going to ask is, give you all a minute, is to find the person that's next to you or behind you and just think about one thing that you could do to improve yourself or to become a better leader. So you've got literally 45 seconds each. There's always an area for improvement. All right, don't forget to switch, give the other person a chance. Excellent. Rounding up now, guys. I could see this conversation going on forever because you start thinking at a deeper level. What am I great at? What's one thing that I can improve? And for me, every day I know that it doesn't matter who crosses my path will teach me something new, which will allow me to improve, which will allow me to share with others. All right, so coming back, thank you so much for participating. And I do a reflection every day. If I don't get to do a reflection every day, I'll try and do it once a week. And that reflection for me on every day, I ask myself, what did I learn today? What did I love about it? What's the value add I got from it? And how can I share it with others? And again, many of you know this, that if we're learning something, learn it as if you're going to teach it to somebody else, because if you really want that learning to become in-depth and integrated within you, learn it as if you're going to teach it for somebody else. I haven't done that one. Okay, so leading yourself, points to consider. What's your relationship with you? We so often look at what our relationship is with others, but what about yourself? How do you value yourself? You cannot go forward, you cannot create a strategic plan, whether it's business or for you, without knowing who you truly are. Like we want to know our business, right? Are you living life on purpose? Do you know your why? I know for me, when I found my purpose and my why, it changed my whole perception. Like, I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to be a tax auditor. I want to make a difference to one person at a time. It doesn't have to be millions. And the thing is, when I think about that time when I was, in the psychology or the tax or whatever business I was doing in, all them experiences are now coming to fruition as I work with people that come from those arenas. So don't ever knock whatever experience you come through. It will always give you value add that you can share with others. Right, how confident and innovative are you? How much do you think outside the box? Are you courageous when feeling vulnerable? So even my own situation, yes, I was vulnerable. I had a choice. You know, yes, at night I cried a few tears, but in the morning I found the courage and the confidence to get up because I had a purpose to live for. Where is your desire to consistently learn and grow? Now, as a leader, and even with my mentors, I know for me, my learning will only stop at my last breath. I will never stop learning. There's always going to be something to learn. And even now, I'm studying. What about your emotional intelligence? How are you when you're working with other people? Understanding, empathy. How are you when you're leading others? And finally, what's your characteristics and attitude? Your attitude towards you is a reflection of your character that becomes when you're with other people. And leading others means having excellence in your own transformation. So how can you become that role model that is going to influence others to be in a better place? You cannot give to others what you don't have. If you don't have self-leadership, if you don't have self-love, self-respect, self-awareness, self-passion, how can you give that to other people? Or how do you expect other people to share that with you? Inspiring, sharing a vision. So I have my vision for my organization, that it doesn't matter what trainer we're developing them so that they impact the world in a positive way. Our mission is to lead, inspire leadership that ignites transformation. We just don't want a theory-based leadership. You know, we all study theory-based, and I tell my staff all the time, make it personal, make it passionate. How are you going to, you know, when you do come with challenges, how do you deal with the challenges? Of course we're going to be faced with challenges in this world. We live in a world that is so unpredictable, and that last year has just proven that. So how would you prepare for that? And this is the truth. Last year when COVID hit, the people that had high positional leadership positions actually were afraid of making decisions because they didn't know what to do. It was the people that had a lower level role that stood up in most organizations and said, we can make the decisions, we can create the platform for going through this traumatic time, or whatever time it was for us. All right, so just some value add. Let's reflect. How fast are you growing? The world is growing faster around you. It's very innovative. Can you take a moment in time during the day and think about how fast you're traveling? And the second question is that how fast are you with the competition? So you versus you, and then you versus the competition. And this is something that I also reflect on probably once a week. Where am I in my growing? Where am I with myself? Have I grown up a notch? Have I developed a notch? Can I prove that reflection? All right, this is just about me talk. So since COVID globally, like by July last year, we had reached 100,000 people on a global scale, teaching leadership. And we're still doing that, working with leaders no matter what their background is, community leaders, politicians, reverends, pastors, ministers. Currently, I'm working with a team of psychologists in Nepal, teaching them leadership because, yes, they had the theory, medical background, but they didn't know how to lead, or they didn't know how to be strong during this time. So this is what we're working on. And as the leader for Mental Health Foundation Australia in Queensland, my ambassadors are doing the same. I'm doing the same. We're leading teams because the fact is, whatever's happened over the last year, last 14, 15 months, it has impacted all of us. It's impacted us emotionally, mentally, whether in a good way or in an adverse way. We've all been impacted. So the question is that how are you using your psychology and your state and your mechanics to make it serve you so that you can come from a place of servitude for serving others? All right, so over 4 decades, I've been studying Asian leadership, and that's the truth. I've been in leadership since I was, at the age of 5, when my first leadership role was at my nursery school to help students that were not outcoming. And what that's done is help me design this Ultimate Leadership Mastery program that really works on oneness. It explores everything. And why I wanted to share this with you is that, I know in a lot of roles, whether we've been taught theory or whether we've been taught practical, our experiences, your experiences, you can create something really valuable and great and share that with others as well, and for yourself. Where are you with that? And I mentioned earlier that leadership has become more holistic and transcendental now. It's not just transformational. It's just not doing a 2-week course and saying, have your vision, have your authenticity. What's the common goal? It truly is coming from a heart place, and the biggest thing is that you have to value people. Coming from a place of love, coming from a place of value, because your people will know that you are wanting them to be better than them. Even with my team, my whole goal is to grow them beyond me. And if they move on, then for me, that's a win-win, right? And force for success, I think, take massive action, right, John? Write the book. Where are you? Where do you want to be? How are you going to close that gap? Get a mentor, get a coach, get a friend. Even the mentoring for growth or somewhere, get somebody that holds you accountable to taking massive action. When they hold you accountable, you take consistent action. When you take consistent action, you're going to see greater results. And as Tony says, repetition is the mother of skill. So don't ever think that you don't know or you know enough. There's always something to learn to make you more than enough. And when I talk about the negative emotions, I know a lot of people consistently ask ourselves, am I enough? Am I good enough? And that comes with the background events, meanings that you've given to things that have happened in your life. And that's a different topic. I mean, that's a different subject altogether. So I don't know if my time's up, but this is where we are. People who succeed have momentum. The more they succeed, the more they want to succeed. And the more they'll find a way to succeed. And I think Margaret said questions was going to be at the end when we're networking. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Pushpa. That's really, really good. Now, you may have noticed that we haven't had any Zoom people introduce themselves. There's a good reason. There's something gone wrong with the technology. That's what we were trying to solve in the background there. However, we do push on, and we hope that at some stage they will be able to get on. So we now move to our next stage where we're talking about government funding and opportunities, and TAFE opportunities, university opportunities. So how about I kick off from the Torrens University viewpoint? Remembering we've got UQ here, we love all universities in every way, shape and form. Torrens University, so workplace integrated learning students do 200 hours in the workplace. If they have a speciality, like they're a Bachelor of Business Entrepreneurship, then 100 of those hours would be purely on things like lean startup, methodology, so they'd be applying their knowledge, having studied it. If it's marketing, so Bachelor of Business Marketing, then obviously they'll be working on your social media or marketing plans and making it all come true for you. So it's 200 hours and it is unpaid. Work cover is paid by the university. You like that idea? I like that idea. It's really good. I've had quite a lot of interns along the way. Paperwork's really easy. Basically, you just need to have a bit of a project idea. Certainly not as wordy as the TAFE one that I used to send out, and you used to love, the 10 pages that you had to fill in. No, this is kind of like a one-page dot point thing. Now, you have had a master's student from Torrens University. How's that going?
I actually have 3, so I've got 2 for the women's charity, and one of the interns is actually using that organization as a part of his thesis project. And then SENAY, she does marketing as well. So this is Jasmine. SENAY's the other girl. Yeah, really, really well. And the paperwork was so simple. Yeah, and they've got the industry conference on this afternoon online, so if anybody wants to visit.
Yeah, so that's good. And I think there's about 6,000 involved in that industry conference this afternoon, so businesses sort of matching themselves with students. That's really good. And the other thing is the Social Enterprise Hub. So there is a Social Enterprise Hub, and some of the students are working in the hub. So if there's a social enterprise sort of mission-based, you know, cause business, whether it be something around sustainability in the environment or in people or whatever, then that is another opportunity that the project can come into the hub, and collectively the Social Enterprise Hub will solve the problem or come up with a range of projects and solutions around that. Okay, that's my little ad for Torrens today, but you need to just speak to me and I'll be able to make that come true. Normally it will be Dr. Alistair McDonald who you might speak to if you have spoken to Alistair. Alistair normally makes it here, but he's also a business person. You know, so he works for the union and he's a business person. So he's got business meetings today, but he'll be back next month for you to talk to as well. So Alistair coordinates anything to do with the general business, and I coordinate entrepreneurship, and between the two of us, we can do the whole lot. Probably not fashion. Okay? Ian, what's good things?
Thank you very much. So actually I'm going to talk about a couple of things, and one of the things I'm going to talk about is something that Margaret was just talking about with regards to universities and getting research done. We have my company Artemis Robotics actually has 3 research projects underway with the University of Queensland. We have had nearly $900,000 worth of research work done. It's cost my company $120,000. So there's a lot of research grants out there that you can get, that you can work in conjunction with the universities. You need to understand that it is a university. It does take a little bit of time. You know, your first research grant might take a year, your second one might take 3, but those are in lines with fellowship goals and also the types of research work that's undertaken at the university. With regards to the robotics cluster, the robotics cluster is actually situated here in this building, upstairs, and it's in and around the other clusters that are here. So there's the AI cluster and also the VR cluster, so the virtual reality cluster. And those 3 organisations really define what technology is going to be over the next few years, and there's a very good reason why the 3 of them are basically on the same floor or in the same area. And the reason for it is because those 3 technologies combined can make huge differences to the automation of businesses and what's going to happen in the future in construction and automation in the industry, all industrial spaces. And in fact, I recently gave a talk to the whole of America through the Engineers Network Reporter, ENR. They had a big conference on future tech, and we were talking specifically about how robotics and automation is going to change everything in the construction industry. And in the US, I don't know if you've been following the news, but in the US, the Biden administration is currently looking at putting $1 trillion into infrastructure. And the entire construction industry is sitting there going, that's great. The problem is we don't actually have people who can go out and do that work. We don't have enough people who are qualified. And so they suddenly looked at the robotics industry and said, how can you help us? How can we automate some of these positions? So if at all you're looking at automation, if you're looking at anything to do with automation, AI, deep learning, those types of things, be happy to talk to you. And of course the clusters are here. Now, I have not met this person, despite the fact that he's part of our cluster. Hi. Have we? Oh, that's really embarrassing. We've met a couple of times. Sorry, and you're going to talk about?
Probably just about being a member there, I guess. From my perspective, being at the robotics cluster, it's been it's a really good place to, I guess, to learn more about the different technologies and how the industry is growing, and also to connect with everyone else in the industry. For us, because we're a technology company and originally how we got introduced to it, we're with the, we originally got introduced to the mining sector cluster that was originally being formed by Queensland government as well, and then that branched off into the robotics cluster and a few others afterwards. And how we got involved with that was that we then got involved with a couple of different companies that we met over the time that as the clusters kind of grew up and matured, and we've been doing a lot of business with different companies since. So for our perspective and learning both what kind of technologies that different companies are doing, but also being involved directly in helping the companies to achieve their technology goals has been good for us as well. That's
Give these guys a round of applause. Wonderful information. What's the long-term goal and objective? Where are we taking this?
For the robotics cluster, the long-term goal for us is to actually create a new manufacturing hub of companies that are actually building robots in Australia. That's a really hard to do, but to actually be able to get entirely new manufacturing sector stood up is actually very, very difficult, especially when people in government don't understand what you're doing. They look at robotics and think that they're going to take people's jobs. It's actually proven that automation in the workplace increases the amount of employees. In some cases, tenfold. I was speaking to a company in the Gold Coast who underwent a massive automation. They not only increased their employees tenfold, they increased their turnover tenfold, which was a massive gain for them. Now, they use conventional automation for their business processes, but it just goes to speak to you how, if you can find a way of automating something in your company, it will really drive massive changes in the side of what you're trying to achieve. And it's just a fantastic area.
Well, the crazy thing about that is that that's not the future. That's the now. That's the here and now. And the degree of automation and robotics that's integrated into not just manufacturing, the food industries, textiles of all sorts. There's robotics and artificial intelligence integrated into just about every sector now. And if you want to put your blinkers on and pretend it's not there, you're going to miss out on the opportunities of the future. So great to have people like you guys in there doing it, and we're so proud to have you as part of it. Thank them again very much for that information. Now, you also heard Darren talk about fellowships, and if you look on the Events Queensland website or you look in the QI Hub, you will find the updates on the Research Fellowship Program, which has been running now for, I think, 16 or 17 rounds of supporting the graduates in universities to do research with industry in a partnership. They're fantastic. Also, how many of you have started preparing for your Ignite Ideas grant application? Because guess what? It opens on the 1st of July, and it's going to be open till the 22nd of July, and if you don't get your expression of interest in on time, you have missed out. It has been put up on the website far earlier this year to allow time, particularly for enterprises in regions, to start preparing, and we've run some webinars and workshops, and we've put a whole lot of information about what the assessors might be looking for. It's not easy. The rate over the past 7 rounds has been around 4.5% of expressions of interest have gone through to raise funds through the grant. So you've got a lot against you, and it's not because it's not easy. It is easy. Follow the guidelines. Make sure that you have what the assessors and what the government is looking for. Get your application in on time, and you'll probably stand a reasonable chance, because there's a lot of rubbish comes in most of the time and a lot of time wasting. So that is all happening. Who's driven along Coronation Drive and seen up on the building there that big red hat? Because there is a firm there, Red Hat, yeah, which Wayne Gerard has championed. Guess what? We're getting a new chief entrepreneur for Queensland. Guess who? Wayne Gerard. There you go. So a local born and bred business, shown what it's all about, worked very closely here with the precinct and with the startup community, and we're certainly looking forward to having Wayne on board very shortly. So there's a lot happening. If is anybody here not yet got onto the QI Hub? I'm pleased. Everybody's on the QI Hub. Look, if you're not and you're just feeling a bit shy, just Google QI Hub, register. It is being set up as the network facility for all Innovation Queensland businesses to speak to each other, to learn about programs, to look at opportunities. There's a whole lot of events being put up there and references to up-and-coming grants. So we want that to be the point of truth. I get frustrated myself, I'm sure you do as well, trying to find information about what government provides, and you end up going around in circles to 10 different websites. Often, when I say around in circles, often that's what they do. You follow a page link and it comes back to where you started. So we're trying to set that up as a great place for people to network, learn, engage, and find out about what is happening in government. So that's the news that is news. I'm still working with high growth business, and there's a couple of ACE members here today from the Advancing Champion Enterprises Network. Terrific. So that is all about taking businesses that we've identified as having a high growth probability or already in that scale up phase, and putting a little bit more investment in those businesses. And Darren is a typical example of the type of business and people that we're looking for, those that are going to be recognised internationally with great pride and honour to Queensland as the future of innovation and technology. So that's it from me. Could I hear something, please, from Small Business Solutions? Da, 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 da.
Yes, I just happen to have in my hand a brochure. Now, John, there's some new mentors across the state, remembering this is being recorded and people who are remote are able to watch this whole thing. Okay, so just behave yourself because you're on candid camera. Smile. John, how many mentors across the state are there now for Small Business Solutions? 13. There's 13. Well, there you go. See, I said 12 before. So there's 13. There's a new person I met at our quarterly meeting on Thursday from the Sunshine Coast. Lovely young person. When I say it's a relative, what's young, what's not young, from our conversation before. And I'm only one of those people, so my patch is Moreton Bay going forward. Certainly not Southside. So there is a brochure here with a person's face in it that happens to be my face. But I'm not the only face. There are people all over the state. Pardon? Other than that, if you could just sort of, But yeah, there are people who are particularly skilled in digital marketing, and people like me who are more in early stage, startup, fast growth type of interest areas in tech and innovation. So there's a real mixture of mentors. Would you like to say something about this program? This incredibly expensive program that costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars, or not. You can stay there, you can have this.
Saves me going down the stairs with my knees. I think what's exciting about this program is it's not only just about understanding or being mentored to understand the fundamentals of your business, which you must understand. You must understand your cost, your compliance, your taxation liabilities, and your marketing and so on. But also the time spent on a lot of what Pushpa has talked about, that is understanding you as a person. We go through some emotional intelligence aspect of things, because a big part of your success in business is you. And I think the mentoring program does focus quite extensively on that. It's all about you, it's tailored about you, your business and your results and your outcome, and you are responsible for it. So that's one of it. And the good thing about this course is, apart from it's heavily subsidised by government, and it's got between 98 and 100% satisfaction rate from people who've done the course. In fact, we have one person here he is, yep, who can vouch for that, so by all means have a chat with him during the break. It's, we're currently, as I indicated before in our introductions, we're currently completely revamping the program. We have to be. The program is underpinned by Cert 4 in Small Business Management. Now that's being phased out by government policy. And now it's going to be called Entrepreneurship and New Business. And very different in a lot of ways, and I've been fortunate to be able to secure Margaret to be part of our development team for obvious reasons. One, she's got a strong education background, she's an entrepreneur, and she's lectures in entrepreneurship, so it doesn't get much better than that. So this new program is going to be fantastic. We're hoping to get it released by October, and it's going to open some new markets for us. I'm still in discussion with the Department of Education about getting some additional funding for new business, but that could be a little while coming yet. Thank you.
Will that be a new opportunity for you and I to meet to talk about how we can integrate that program to support the ACE network? Okay, because I'm looking for just that next level up. And look, if you haven't got involved with the small business solutions programs, anybody, do so. The value is second to none. Absolutely fantastic service, and it's been going for a long time, and it's got the reputation behind it, so you can't do better.
Thank you. We can take components of our workshop delivery to specifically target your needs. For example, if you have a need for better understanding for your staff or yourself, better understanding of digitisation, we can set up a workshop from that for a 2-hour or half-day workshop. We do that. Customer service, sales, counter service, all those bits and pieces that you encounter in your daily activities of your business. If you have an issue, you want a short program training, 2 hours, half a day or full day, whatever you want, talk to myself and Marg and we'll be able to help you.
And I can't quite remember whether you mentioned people can either do a kind of workshop program with one-on-one mentoring, or they can have 5 1.5-hour mentoring sessions, which is a very common way that I would do it one-on-one. All the way through, although SIVA, you did some workshops with other winners of the Lord Mayor's Multicultural Business Awards. And then we had one-on-one mentoring after, didn't we? And that was good. Okay, so I'm going to now hand over to Caitlin to talk about UQ with all the knowledge that she has gained in 6 weeks.
Hi everyone. So I have foregone my notes because I don't have a third hand, so we'll just see how I go. But first and foremost, my name's Caitlin. I'm the Community Partnerships Coordinator for UQ Ventures. I have just joined, so I've been there for about 6 weeks. I actually came from SCREE Queensland, which is a state government agency looking after film and television. When I was there, I ran the SQ Hub program, which is a series of co-working spaces, and I also ran the video games investment program. So I can literally talk about video games all day, every day. I did that for about 3.5 years. And then before that, I worked predominantly in agriculture. So I have a bit of a weird background, but have pretty much always supported startups, scale-ups, small business. So that's kind of a bit of my background, and I'm happy to talk about things a bit later. But UQ Ventures, so we are basically an arm within the global engagement and entrepreneurship division of UQ. We run a series of programs for staff, alumni, but predominantly students. We have incubators and accelerators. So that's all about kind of developing their startup, but it's also about developing an entrepreneurial mindset. Don't know why I chose to use that word in a presentation, but that's kind of what we do, but we are also delivering programs for fee-for-service, but also for partnerships. This is just kind of a bit of statistics about what we've done. So since 2018, we've delivered entrepreneurial activities to 30,000 participants, and we have supported over 230 startups within our programs. So these are the programs that we run for UQ students and alumni. So Curiosity, Validate, and iLab Accelerator are kind of like, you don't have to do all three of them, but they're kind of like an ideation program, a validation program, and then an accelerator when you're ready to go to market. We have an Activate program, which is an internship program, Lead Hers, which is all about female identifying students, alumni, and staff, and then Startup Adventures. Startup Adventures predominantly, well, has always happened globally, so we've always sent students to kind of a startup hotspot globally. So you can see here that we've kind of sent people to Shanghai, Shenzhen, Singapore, San Francisco, and Tel Aviv. But this year we're actually going to be piloting the program regionally. So we are going to pilot the program in Townsville and in Toowoomba. So that's going to happen in November. So what we're looking for is partners and people who are looking for interns. So we're sending 25 students to each of those areas. So we have a lot of people that we want to kind of embed in those spaces, and that will be for 4 weeks. And UQ will obviously facilitate everything around that. But if you are based in Townsville or Toowoomba, or you're interested in partnering with us or just learning more about it, you can come and talk to me. This is what we can do for industry. So we run design jams. This is kind of a big part of what we do. So we can run facilitated design jams internally with your staff that can kind of address an identified problem. We also run lots of hackathons and industry challenges. And Startup Academy is relatively new. And it's all about running fee-for-service workshops, which will come up on a later slide as well. And this is also just a series of workshops that we run. So we've got business review, business model design, customer discovery, design thinking, agile project management, pitching and storytelling, and working together. So what you can see is everything that we run is focused on developing the entrepreneurial mindset or developing a startup, depending on kind of what area you're focused on. So this is probably what's of most of interest to you guys, and certainly the thing that I kind of want to talk about the most. So these are the upcoming opportunities we have. This is not like everything. So we do a lot, and particularly a lot within industry and with students. So Breakfast with Angels is coming up fairly soon on the 14th of July. So this is open to anyone. It's a ticketed event, but it's free. You don't have to be UQ student or alumni to attend. You can register and get a session with an angel investor. If you're interested in becoming an angel investor, they can talk about that. But if you are running a company and you just want to talk to an angel investor and get feedback from them about how you can better your chances of getting funding, that's kind of what that is designed for. This corporate venturing is one of our Startup Academy workshops. So it is a paid event, and that's all about kind of entrepreneurship within corporate spaces, and that's run in partnership with Impact Innovation. We have a startup mixer. The date is no longer TBC. It is the 17th of August. So this is basically, we get a bunch of companies into a room with students who are looking for internships. So it's about 80 to 90 students, and you will get 1 minute to pitch your internship opportunity. It's one of our most successful events, and it's really great if you're looking for interns. Then we've got Innovation Champions for the public sector. Again, it's with Impact Innovation, but this is specific for people who work in government and looking at, you know, kind of overcoming barriers in implementing innovation within your area. The KWM Law Challenge, so this is specifically for law and tech fields only, but we are looking for mentors who can kind of provide feedback to students who are participating in the challenge. So you only need to give 1 hour on each of those dates, and basically you just kind of provide them feedback on the idea that they've kind of come up with as part of the challenge. And then we've got International Business School and UQ Ventures. We've developed a partnership. And we're looking for companies who are interested in implementing an international expansion strategy. So you would work with International Business School students, and you would give them, you know, information about your business. They would ask you lots of questions, and they would actually go and develop an international expansion strategy for an area of the world that you have chosen. That counts as an assessment piece for them, but then you and your company get to walk away with that international expansion strategy and implement it how you wish. The requirement is meeting online, so this is available to people in regional areas as well, for those kind of 3 dates, and again, only for an hour. So that's a really kind of great program that we're kind of piloting, and hopefully we'll end up with some really great outcomes for companies working with our students. Like I said, this isn't exhaustive. So we recently, just this morning, we're also looking for mentors as part of our Global Challenge Lab, which is in partnership with Imperial College in London. So that's an online kind of mentoring opportunity. When we say mentoring, it tends not to be an extended period of time. It tends to be 1 to 2 hours of your time. And Tristan has taken part as a mentor before, and it's a really wonderful opportunity to kind of work with students and give back. So we always have opportunities kind of coming through the pipeline in terms of mentoring or guest speaking. But that's kind of what we have at the moment. So obviously there'll be networking afterwards. Please come and talk to me if you're interested in any of these things. And that's pretty much it. I don't have business cards yet. Because I'm new, so feel free to take a photo of this so you have my details. Obviously we have generic email, we have my email, and then we have a newsletter that you can sign up to as well. But feel free to take a photo of that. So I'm very sorry I don't have business cards. No worries.
Really interesting. Lots of exciting things out there. You just need to avail yourself of them. Certainly in my companies in Melbourne, that's how we found new staff. So Swinburne University had the gaming students, so we always had 4th year gaming students that came in and worked part-time with us. Some of those were paid, others not. And also RMIT, which we found were best for coding, general coding. So you're sort of picking, you know, the university that's got the sort of support, but, you know, the key thing that I would say to you is get to know the people from the university, because they make those connections really much better. If you have that relationship. Now, this has been recorded, and it is going on the Ufangled Tubey thingy. Yes. Have we got a site that you would like to say?
There is an Expressway YouTube site. We don't yet have enough people registered to give it like an easy-to-use name. But if you go onto YouTube and search for Expressway, we have a few recordings. Last month was a bit of a disaster from a tech point of view when we put that down to the power shutdown that happened the day before. But February and the 2 months before that are up there. This one will be up on there sometime this week. So if in fact you are searching for that person in the green shirt that was something or other, rather than talk to Marg, go look at the video and you'll find all of that out.
Thank you very much. So I guess the guys are just getting some sandwiches, wraps out of the fridge. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody and just give you a little bit of understanding of where my journey's going next and how it started a little bit over 10 years ago. So just over 10 years ago, I was still back in Melbourne. And before I'd even sold the biggest company at that point in time, but two clients that we had that we were working on various projects were the Clean Energy Council and the Green Building Council, particularly around Green Star accreditation, as consultants to them, amongst other things, and building a lot of high-tech stuff as well. And that then got me rather interested as a person who's never been spatial in that sort of architectural way or mathematic in that particular way. That got me really interested in the possibility that I could design a sustainable house. We also really, our children had left home and we wanted to be warm. So we wanted to move. So we had a 10-year plan. So at the end of last year was kind of the 9-year mark. And so last year I studied with the University of Tasmania in sustainability with the architecture faculty, and I designed our sustainable house, a subtropical sustainable home, took it to architects and made it a lot better. We've just finishing up with the architects, and so hence we're creating this sustainable home, but I studied a lot around sustainability as well. And one of the things that I really felt early this year, and I got a speaker in to talk about sustainability and in its relation to business, is that there is too many connectors that can connect the world of small to medium enterprise, possibly at corporate level, but not at our level, with what sort of benefits to the customer are you going to get if you transform towards some of these new industry modes that we're going to. We've heard robotics talk about how hard it is to get a manufacturing up and running. So it is that connection with sustainability, which has been something that I've been studying for the last year. I really don't need any more qualifications, but it's certainly worked a lot across a whole range of things. So one of the things that I want to do in moving to DEBORAH is not retire. If you say that to me, it's going to be I would like to get involved in that sort of innovation community, but I think I can make some of those connections to our mob, our tribe, and try to see how we can actually grow our businesses and bring in a whole lot of new ways of thinking, so that we can benefit Australia, benefit Queensland, there is only Queensland, sorry Ian, benefit Queensland and the world. So we heard from Daniel, who's come from mining, who then says he's gone green. Well, it's more than that. There's a whole lot to do with sustainability. So that's something that I want to bring to the mix. And in moving to Moreton Bay, there's sort of opportunities in innovation that are kind of fresh, and I like doing stuff and boldly going where no one has gone before.
All right, just as we close, thank you everybody for coming along, for your participation, your input. We haven't finished, there is some lunch there. Thanks very much RDA for the support with that. This is the time to get to know each other and talk about your businesses, your opportunities, your challenges, and see what support you can get. Please join me once more as we farewell Margaret from this role as convener after 7 years. It's been a wonderful 7 years with her at the helm. Forward to her continuation and support in another capacity with Expressway, but we've got a great team, a great vision, and we will continue to grow your group, and this is your group. This is doesn't belong to any organisation. It's a meet-up group. It belongs to you, and I hope you continue to keep getting behind it and attending meetings. Welcome everybody. Have some lunch.